There are many ways that we could develop the Madingley model, and indeed we hope that our work in part will inspire other ecologists to try this kind of modelling, and indeed we're open sourcing the code to the Madingley model, so if they would like they could base those models on the Madingley. They could begin with the Madingley, or they could invent them from scratch. Having worked on the model for 3 years, we've identified a few ways that we think would be particularly exciting to develop it. So one direction is in terms of the various processes that are currently missing from the model, and it is quite simple despite its size, and so there are many missing processes. For example, we know in reality that many ecosystems are connected by seasonal migrations of organisms. For instance, birds and mammals on land, and ocean mammals and fish in the oceans. And so these organisms are deliberately making these seasonal movements to track availability of food and so on, and this connects ecosystems together, and currently we don't have that at all in the model. We have small-scale movements between adjacent grid cells, but we don't have deliberate long-term movements. We also don't treat what we call stoichiometry at all, really. So we track a single kind of matter through the model, carbon, but we know that for many organisms, nitrogen, for example, and phosphorus are really important too, and sometimes these might become decoupled, or the ratios might get out of whack, and that's something that we don't simulate. And also, within a grid cell, within a location, all the organisms are currently well mixed. And we know in reality there's habitat structure within a location, within a region, with organisms that are in the canopy or the understory, or even diurnal structure, like organisms that are active in the day versus those that are active at night. So that's just 3 of several exciting directions in terms of the processes in the model. However, although that's exciting, it's also important that we constrain the model better against data, and that may encourage us to keep the model simpler. So we've had to fill in a lot of the blanks in the Madingley model as best we can from previous ecological knowledge or very limited data. And one of the big things we'd like to do in the coming months and years is to evaluate many more aspects of the output of the model against data, and try and feed more data in on the processes and so on, so that when we make predictions with the model, we can say that those predictions have a kind of rigor against data that currently they don't quite have.